What exactly does it mean to be a coach? And what exactly does it mean to be a good coach in the industry today? I want to break down a couple of ways of looking at coaching and holding space for your clients in order to get them to the transformation that they want to be at. And I think that this comes with a lot of different approaches to coaching and a lot of different ways of approaching a brand new business, including mistakes and mistakes to avoid that I break down in this episode as well. So if you are a new coach or you are thinking of becoming a coach or becoming a mentor in some capacity where you're working with clients, this episode is for you. I'm so excited for you to tap in and start thinking critically and analyzing some of the processes that you have in your own business and ways that you can make them much more efficient and abundant if you are taking a look at what you're doing. Let's go ahead and dive right in.
I'm your host, Tiffany Chung, your go-to for all things marketing, mindset, and manifestation. I grew my online business from 0 to beyond 6 figures in 8 months. My purpose is to empower women to step into the highest, most aligned versions of themselves. If you are ready to take charge of your life, learn how to design a wildly successful business, and leave limiting beliefs behind, you've come to the right place. You will learn the actionable tips and step-by-step strategies on money, manifestation, and social media. It's time to step into your role as boss, to raise your vibration and tap into your unlimited potential today. Welcome to the Social Reset Podcast.
What does it mean to be a good coach? This is such a packed question because the word good is so subjective. And I think we've all had very different experiences of coaching, whether that is us coaching somebody else or us receiving coaching on the other end. And I think we also have had different experiences, a wide variety of experiences that lead to us saying that was a good coaching experience or that wasn't a good coaching experience. So let's settle this and really think critically about what it means to be a good coach and what it means to create a coaching environment that is sustainable and also the most effective for your client. So when a lot of new coaches are just starting out, I see them confusing coaching with consulting. So I want to break that down first. A coach holds an energetic space for the client in order to ask the client the right questions and guide them towards a specific transformation. It is the client's responsibility to show up and to do the work and be prepared and have things they want to bring up to their coach in order to get coaching on it. It's up to the client to be responsible and transparent and committed and resourceful during this time. And it's up to the coach to create an equal partnership where both parties feel safe to speak up, and the coach is the one that is able to pinpoint where, for example, the client is doing something that they feel like is going to change everything for them, and they're focused on changing this one thing that they think is the issue. And if it's not, it's up to the coach to have the uncomfortable conversation to say, no, that's actually not the thing that needs to switch. It's this instead. And in order for them to have those uncomfortable or even awkward moments in order to facilitate expansion and growth for the client's good, the client's highest good. Consulting is more so telling a client what they would do or what they should do in a specific scenario or space, and is very dependent on the niche or the secret sauce that the person is in. So again, I can't really speak to that because it is a lot more general where you can be very specific, but it is more so sharing advice in the way that I'm understanding it. And coaching is more so allowing the client to look within themselves for the answers, because I truly believe that every single one of my clients knows what they need to do, but sometimes they need to be in the space and be asked the right questions in order to discover that within themselves. I also never believe that my clients need me in order to be successful or need me in order to be a good coach because I coach coaches, right? I think that they come to me and they choose to work with me because they want to expand their knowledge, learn to master their own energy and manage their own energy in order to express their unique light and magic with the world. And they want to build an activated business. So I believe that's why a lot of my clients come to me and a lot of the students are inside of my programs. But I never come at it with this energy of you are going to continue to fail if you do not join my programs. And it isn't this very toxic way of selling and approaching entrepreneurship. It is knowing that abundantly I will always attract the most soul-aligned clients that are going to come my way. So with that thinking and with that knowing, there are a couple of things that I do see new coaches getting stuck on or finding themselves stuck within. And one of them is really thinking that they're going to make money instantly as soon as they start their business. And then they have their business and they're not signing clients, or they are still struggling with their marketing and their content or reaching out to people. And then they feel really discouraged. And I think that there is this expectancy error where people expect so much and so much to happen so instantly, because as online entrepreneurs and coaches, we are very loud about the money milestones that we hit. And so sometimes I think that it creates this expectancy error where all new coaches expect to be making 5K months and 10K months in their first month in their business, which is not impossible because it happens all the time. But I think that the problem here isn't that we shouldn't be aiming high, because you absolutely should be aiming high and claiming the abundance. I think that the goal becomes making money because they are making it mean something about them, whether they make the money or they don't make the money. And then they end up basing their worth and how good of a coach they are based on the money that they did or did not make. And this is an issue that I see time and time again, because it makes them think, oh, should I not be quitting my job? Should I give up and throw in the towel? Am I not good at this? Am I not a good coach? And I think the thing to take away from this the most is to be able to recognize that there are different phases in entrepreneurship. The very first phase you're going to have to make is the investment phase, where you are investing energy, time, resources, and money into your business. Just like anybody that is building a physical brick and mortar business in their local neighborhood and expecting to put in money, lose money, and then break even and then start making money, it's the same thing for online entrepreneurs. But I think that because online entrepreneurship sometimes has a bad rap for a variety of reasons, and I won't go into them right now because they're not relevant, but sometimes we have friends or family or acquaintances or distant family members that will ask us and to just push us a little bit with this energy of, oh, are you making money yet? How much money are you making? Or how's that little business of yours doing, right? And they do so in this very domineering way where they really want to kind of make light of the situation in a negative sense and try to bring to your attention that, oh, what if you're failing and what's going to happen if you do? And, oh, maybe you should have never started to begin with. Maybe you should have listened to me and gone the safer route, because they were never able to have the audacity and the balls to build their own business or do something risky in their own lives. And of course, they then want to preface and warn everybody around them. And sometimes it comes from intentions of wanting to protect you, but sometimes it comes from intentions of other emotions, right? So I think it's important for new coaches and new entrepreneurs to recognize that the very first phase is putting that effort, that energy, that time investment, those resources in. And it's going to be more than the money that comes into your bank account. It's going to be more than the money that is being paid to you. And for a lot of people, this is a really difficult phase. There's a lot of mind drama going on in this phase because you're putting so much time in, you're putting so much energy in, you're investing in coaches, which is already a 4 or 5 figure investment. So that's a lot of money. And you're not getting back enough money to match that investment or the sacrifice or the effort or the investment that you've made, and you start feeling discouraged. And so a lot of people at this phase, they start to throw in the towel. They start letting it mean something about themselves. They start telling their friends and family that they're not seeing a lot of money come in. And so they start taking on other people's doubt about them. And then they just kind of fade into the distance and they stop working at it. Where if they continued to push forward, if they continued staying in that uncomfortable moment for just a little bit longer, they will start moving into the next phase where they're starting to break even. So the effort that they're putting in is starting to match the money that is being received. And then you start to reinvest those profits. So I heard another life coach that was saying the first year of her business, and a lot of the people that she knew who are also life coaches, the money they made within the first year went right back into coaching. It went right back into a mindset coach, went right back into a business coach, because that is extremely powerful. And you want to make sure that your money is going back into reinvesting in your business. And once you're able to do that and you're able to get through the difficult phase of phase 1, and you're able to move through that challenging phase of reinvesting and breaking even for a little bit, then it starts paying off. And this is where you start being able to attract that abundance that you know you are so worthy of, but that also takes time. You can't jump from quitting your job to making $1 million within a month. Is it possible? Sure, of course, right? Let's say that it is possible, because I'm sure it's happened in some cases where you start at zero and then you ramp all the way up to $1 million. But for the most of us, for the majority of us, the 99.9%, you need to be able to shift through different levels and different lessons you need to learn at those levels in order to then expand into the next level ahead. So from going to 5K to 10K months is an expansion in itself. There are lessons there that are made. There are mistakes that are made, lessons that are learned, certain things that you would do again, things that you would absolutely do again, right? So that way you're able to grow, you're able to evolve, you're able to play in this trial and error phase of experimentation, and you're able to allow yourself to be okay making mistakes and getting it wrong. And then you're able to shift into 10K months, and then into 20K months and 30K months, and then hitting 6 figures, and then maybe $500,000 and then $1 million, right? It doesn't always look like that, right? There are other benchmarks and milestones within that you might have for yourself as well. But just for the sake of breaking this example down, that's normally what it looks like, because also if you jumped from zero to $1 million, which you can manifest anything that you want, but does that align with your highest self? Does that teach you the lessons that you needed to learn in entrepreneurship? Do you actually have the team and the structures and the systems in order to support how many students are inside a $1 million revenue program or course or class? Typically, when you're first starting out, you don't. Typically, when you're first starting out, you can't avoid the hard work that you have to put in to build a business. And by hard work, you know that I don't mean the hustle and grinding of wounded masculine strategies that is pointless and non-intentional and just drives you to the ground. That's not what I mean. I mean that there is a significant amount of inspired action, embodied doing, and hard work in order to build a business. And nobody gets to bypass that. Nobody gets to bypass the mind drama that goes on inside of your brain that you have to work through and navigate through and get coaching on and self-coach yourself on in order to move into the next level that you are then able to attract. And if you aren't able to manage and attract and take care of in a very efficient way, taking care of 10K, the universe isn't going to grant you 20K and 30K if you aren't able to manage what you have in front of you. And that means learning the language of money and financial literacy, learning to save or invest or reinvest back into your business, opening up a business savings account, maybe working with a bookkeeper or somebody that can help you manage your money and understand what to do with that money, right? These are all things that we need to take care of. And so for a lot of coaches, they expect things that are going to happen instantly that just aren't meant to because they need to learn specific lessons first. Okay. So that is one big thing that I see in coaches is that they make so many different things mean something about them that really isn't accurate and isn't something they need to take on. Your thoughts create your reality. Your brain is magical. Your brain is infinite. Your soul is infinite. And if you are listening to these parts of yourself and you're listening to your body and you're listening to what you're being called towards, you will know and it will make sense to you to start making the decisions and start listening to and reframing your thoughts in a way that will serve you and serve your highest good. So what I mean by that is as a new coach, as a quote unquote good coach, which, I'm just using that. I'm using that word for the sake of this episode, but I don't believe in good and bad and negative and positive, right? I think those are too subjective and it's very absolute, right? Nothing is all good and nothing is all bad. And so I'm going to continue using it though for the sake of this episode. So a lot of good coaches will, approach their way of entrepreneurship with asking these questions that also don't serve them. So let's talk about questions. Let's talk about low quality questions and high quality questions. You might have already heard this from a coach that you've worked with or different podcasts or books. I think this is an idea that's been circling for a really long time, and it's just a concept that is pretty common sense once you kind of get the hang of it. And that is understanding that there is a certain level of questions that you can ask that are lower quality and more higher quality based on the coaching you want to receive and the way you're approaching this issue or this problem in your life. So for example, if you are on Instagram and you're marketing your offer and it's been a week of posting and you don't see enough engagement to your liking and you don't see money rolling in and all of the clients lined up to work with you, you might ask a low quality question along the lines of, why isn't this working, right? That might be your low quality question. A higher quality question or perspective or reframe would be, how can I embody this version of myself that has these aligned clients? And what might be something that's standing in the way, or what is something that I can do to attract my clients by showing up as a more authentic version of myself, right? These are questions that you would ask yourself. And if you were asking for coaching around this, you might ask for coaching around the specific mindset that leads back to, why am I seeking external validation through likes and follows and comments when instead I should be focusing on client attraction and building good relationships with soul-aligned clients, right? So there's a different level of understanding and perspective switch that needs to happen in these circumstances and be able to look at things in a completely different way in order to serve your highest self. Because at the end of the day, the business owner that is looking at likes and engagement is not always necessarily the business owner who is connecting with soul-aligned clients and people that they want to truly serve, right? They can look very different. So I want you to start thinking about whether or not you are asking low quality questions or if you're asking high quality questions that press for a further conversation rather than, oh, I've tried something for a week or a couple of days. It's not working. Now what do I do? Right? And you stop outsourcing your brain and decision-making to your coach or to people around you, and you start building this radical self-trust, which is also another thing that a good coach does, is starting to look within and look within that infinite, expansive body and soul of yours rather than constantly looking for that external validation when making decisions, when asking questions, when trying to commit to something and seeing how other people have done it, and allow yourself to do it your own way and blaze your own trail, even if it's never been done before. Because guess what? You were never meant to be a follower and to continue perpetuating someone else's strategy. You were meant to be a leader. And leaders do not look to a path that's already been walked. They walk on a smooth path that has never been walked or never been done before. And when you build radical self-trust with yourself and you're able to do so in a way that, yes, is scary, yes, is uncomfortable, but you allow yourself to step out of that comfort zone and tame your ego, beautiful things happen. Beautiful results happen as a conclusion of you stepping outside of that zone. The last thing I'm going to mention that I see a lot of new coaches doing, and that quote unquote good coaches or efficient, abundant, activated coaches don't do, is, especially in the very beginning, focus on systems and structures and all the platforms that you need to be a part of, right? Like Dubsado and ClickUp or MailChimp and Flowdesk and all of these different things, and building an email list. And there's so many things that we can get caught up on doing in terms of building an online business, like building our website, having the right domain, right? The thing that you should be focusing on top of everything, and I'll share the second most important thing, is building relationships with your clients. Talk to people, get out there, introduce yourself as the coach that you are. Then there's nothing wrong with getting set up on Dubsado and starting to create workflows and starting to build an email list or build a freebie. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. And if you're doing that right now, I'm not saying stop. I'm not saying stop. I am saying that there are a lot of coaches that flood their time with these things, with building an email list and marketing campaigns and funnels and all of these different things that are really just procrastination because they don't want to get out there and talk to their clients because they're scared. And in the very beginning of building my own business, I didn't have an email list until months and months down the road. I didn't have any freebies. I didn't get set up on Dubsado. I didn't even have a business email. I didn't have any of these things. And again, I'm not saying that if you have these things that you're wrong or that there's something wrong you're doing. That's not what I'm saying. The point that I'm trying to make is that the most important thing, especially in the very beginning, is starting to talk to clients, starting to talk to beta clients, people that might be a good part of your program that you're building right now. Focusing on, building out that program with a beta client or with someone that's going through and wanting to gain that end transformation that you are building for them, right? That's the most important thing. And everything else can come afterwards. Because guess what? When you have clients that are getting good results and that have great testimonials and that are doing a good job, testimonials aren't even the most important thing, but that are getting great transformations is what I mean. And they're going through your program, your offer, your course, and they're shifting. They're becoming different people. They're walking out different people than they walked in as. That gets to be your content. That gets to be what you create free resources around. That gets to be what you build your funnel around, right? You don't need all of those things to get started. You might be pivoting the first couple of months. So you might want to change your domain name and your website and your brand colors and your email list and what your first freebie might be, because your first freebie idea might be completely different than what your program ends up being. And you have to give yourself that time to trial and error and make the mistakes so you can learn from them in order to mold out your first signature offer and your first program. And in order to do that, you have to give yourself the room to make mistakes and the room in order to get it wrong and to build yourself back up And you can only do that by talking to people and talking to aligned clients. And the second most important thing that I did mention I was going to say is creating content, right? When you're able to talk about your offer and create content that is aligned to the transformation that you're facilitating, then people know how to reach out to you and what to reach out to you for. If you're not creating any content and you're not talking about anything at all, people will never know what you're up to. And a lot of people create a program or they start building other things in their business, but they don't ever talk about their offers. And they sit there wondering, why am I not getting any clients? Everyone around me is making 5K months already, but why am I not doing it, right? It's because you're not creating a clear enough brand messaging that allows you to then hook in the right aligned clients, or you're not showing up authentically in a way where you are allowing your clients to even find you in the first place. I'm not saying you need to be posting every single day and churning out content and being on the content creation hamster wheel every single day, but I'm saying there should be enough value and knowledge so that people know what it is that you're doing, even if that's in process and you're molding it. It's okay if that changes, but currently, what are you doing and how can they be a part of it if they're interested in learning more? Whether that's booking a call with you, filling out a form, sending you a DM or an email, right? There's got to be some sort of call to action. So make that easy for your clients. Don't make them jump through hoops, because if something is too exhaustive and if the process is too overwhelming or too long, or they have to hunt you down to find a button to book you or to book a time with you, they're going to give up. Make sure that this is a process that is tried and true, and it's easy and it's simple, and it's something that all roads can point towards. So when you're creating a freebie, when you're talking about something on live, if you're creating a webinar, if you're creating an Instagram post or a reel, you can all point to the same link, which might be the link in your bio. It might be the link to an application form or a call, whatever it is, I don't care. But you have to make sure that there is some sort of way that people can contact you and reach out to you. All right. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you learned something new about what activated coaches do, what we're going to be doing, what we're doing inside of Business Activation Academy, what I've been teaching my clients. And I hope that you're able to take a look at some of your own processes and maybe where some of your energy is going, in order to really take a good hard look to see if everything is aligning to your highest purpose and the coach that you want to be and the coach that you get to be. All right. Thank you again so much for tuning in, and I will catch you on the next episode. Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe. If this episode resonated with you, please take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at tiffanychung.co. I truly appreciate interacting with every one of you. Catch you all on the next one.